Hello, everybody. I'm Mark Horshowski, one of the co-founders of MovingWorlds. I'm joined here with Sarah, who's one of our experteers currently in experteering with Ubongo kids in Tanzania. So I'm up there in the corner, and then Sarah's front and center, and we're so excited to hear her story. And she's taken a couple gracious minutes from her time in the field to share her story with us. And so Sarah would love to hear about what you're doing and what you're learning, and advice for some other people who will be following in your footsteps. And first, would love to just get a quick snapshot of who you are and what you were doing before you decided to go experteering.
Sure. Well, I am retired from the U.S. federal government, and I've been retired for about 5 years. And when I left the federal government, I left Washington, D.C. and moved to Seattle, which is where I found MovingWorlds. And what I'm interested in doing in retirement was finding some kind of volunteer work that was meaningful for me. But I also wanted to combine that with international travel, just because I've done international traveling in the past and done some overseas assignments, which I really enjoyed, and I wanted to continue that. What I found was that when you're traveling with a group of Americans, you basically see other Americans. And, you're experiencing a different culture, but it's on a different level than actually living in the culture. I buy my own food and cook it. I'm living off the economy. And that's so different than when you're traveling with a group of people. Even if you're doing a homestay, you're still kind of living in a tourist bubble in a way. So that's what I was looking for, kind of trying to recreate some of my overseas assignments where I actually did feel as if I was part of the community. And that's what MovingWorlds has given me. I think this is a great experience, and I'm getting exactly what I wanted out of it.
Cool. No, that's wonderful to hear. So tell us a little bit more about the work that you're doing with Ubongo kids.
I was taking a certain class in teaching English speakers of other languages, a different project that I'm going to be on the week and all. But Stacia and I were talking after our initial introduction from MovingWorlds. We kind of hit on the fact that I was taking the certification course and would be interested in using the skills that I had acquired. In Tanzania, the educational system starts out for the first, essentially primary school in Kiswahili, which is the local language. And then when they hit, I guess, what would be the equivalent of high school, they all of a sudden start taking classes in English. So Ubongo Kids, I'm jumping around here, but Ubongo Kids is an animated cartoon that one of the taglines is, it's made in Africa for Africans. And the characters and the animals and the stories were all devised by local Tanzanians. And initially it was done in Kiswahili, essentially franchised in some ways their product to all the East African countries, which don't speak the same Kiswahili language that they do here in Tanzania. So they were in the process of moving it into English, and when I talked with them, they had planned to have all the English episodes finished, printed, and recorded by the time I got here. As it turned out, that didn't happen because things happen more slowly here than you might expect. So when I got here in late June, they were just beginning to cast the voice actors for the English version of Ubongo Kids. So I got here really pretty much at the beginning, and it turns out that one of my major jobs, in addition to doing classes for the staff, has been coach those actors as they're speaking their lines in English. Ubongo Kids also decided that since the long pole in the tent essentially is the animation process, so making the characters online, making their mouths move, information in Kiswahili and just put the English over on top of that. Now, when you translate from Kiswahili to English, the length of the sentences doesn't necessarily match up. So one we do, it's actually been me sitting next to the sound engineer with the voice actor and the coach in the sound booth. We've had to do kind of real-time editing of the translation to make sure that the voices fit. And the voice coach has also developed some confidence in, he was one of the people who is very skilled at what he does but was not confident in English. So he and I have been doing a lot of talking, which I think confidence level in speaking English and understanding my English. So he's gained as well. So I don't feel like I'm going to be leaving them in a lurch because we've gotten kind of the system down that they know how to do this. We've gotten about halfway through the scripts of the first season, so they have another half to go after I leave. But I'm pretty confident that they can step in and finish with around that late.
That's great, and I think that's such a powerful story for people who are going experteering to hear. One of the things that we always like to say to people before they go is, success happens after you leave, and so helping actually build the skills and confidence and competency of people so that the work can continue after you go is always such a maybe not as fulfilling because you don't get to see it all the way done while you're there, but it's just such a powerful thing, really to capture the tune and trend of the experience. So in 10 words or less, Sarah, how would you describe your, how would you summarize your entire experience so far?
Oh, it definitely exceeded expectations. We might get more later when you have other questions, but I was very impressed with the MovingWorlds process with the strategic planning guide. It was kind of a pain to think about working through that, but it really helped going back and forth between Ubongo Kids and me about what our expectations were.
So Sarah, I know that you're in Tanzania right now, but other people are thinking about going experteering, all over the world. What advice do you have for people that are thinking about embarking on an experteering trip, to make the most of the experience?
I think probably the most important things for me were being flexible. Like I said, I wasn't planning on doing this exact thing when even as we were working with the planning guide. I think if I had been too focused on the kind of English language classes that we had talked about, that I would have missed this great opportunity. So I think flexibility is really important. And I think having an open mind has just been really, really moving. And I've enjoyed that a lot.
Well, so be open, be flexible, and look for those opportunities to really engage in the local community. I think that's wonderful. So, well, Sarah, I want to thank you so much. First off for just embarking on an experteering trip like this and using your skills, to support social impact organizations overseas. It sounds like you're really doing some touching work there that's going to have a lasting impact. And also thank you for taking some time. I believe 12, 14 hours ahead of us. And making the time to talk and to share your story. It's been really, really fun to hear. And we so appreciate it, MovingWorlds, and I know a lot of people that will be following in your footsteps on experteering trips are really going to value from hearing your words. So thank you so much. And
that's great. And we're bringing you to settle.
That's wonderful. So thank you.